Hi everybody, it's Andrew Jenkins from Leaders Live. It's Friday, yippee! I'm on the beach at the moment. I don't know if you can see the backdrop behind me, and I've got my wetsuit on today. I'll just pan down to my wetsuit. Whoops, wrong way. So got my second skin wetsuit on today. It's pretty cold in the water. It's a 4-season wetsuit. Listen, I've been reflecting this week on my weekly posts on LinkedIn this week, and I've been talking about work, rest and play, and the importance of balancing those in our lives. And very much kind of thinking about that, that folks were just, I think maybe it's lockdown, or we've been working so hard, haven't we, during the whole lockdown period for 14, 15 months of continuous lockdown, depending where you are in the world. And we've got into this habit of work. And my challenge really is to kind of rebalance that and not to be overworking so much as we're doing. Hi, Deborah Hadfield, great to see you. Great to see you online. Please interact and put some comments in. I'll try and keep up with them as we go along. But great to see you, Deborah. Hope you're well. Hope you survived the pandemic all right. So, we're coming out of pandemic, aren't we? And I'm really focusing on this, what is it to be our very best selves, folks? And this challenge of balancing work, rest and play, and finding that happy kind of balance point between all of those things. Because our work's important, right? And so's our rest, and actually so's our play. And I'm not just thinking about this for ourselves, because it's very easy just to focus on work, rest and play for us as individuals. But it also affects the people that we work with, our colleagues, the people in our teams, the people that we collaborate with that might work for you, if you're a manager or whatever, or a leader of a company. And it's really easy to over-expect, perhaps, particularly in these times of coming out of this very difficult period for people, and mental health is high on the agenda, top on the management agenda for a lot of companies right now, and finding that rebalance for all of us, I think is super important right now. And, I was just thinking that, when we do kind of balance this whole work, rest and play thing, then we kind of rebalance what it is to be, we kind of get to that restorative place, if that's the right word, where we kind of get to re-gear our creativity, the sense of being creative, the sense of experimentation, the sense of being in the moment, folks. And too much work makes Jack a dull boy, and we forget the importance of recalibrating and, taking a rest for a change, right? And playing, and the importance of play, not just in our playtime, but also in our work time as well. And I remember a friend of mine once said, we're both in our 50s, and he kind of said, look, if we can't enjoy work in our 50s, and find it playful, then, what the hell have we been doing for the whole of our careers if we're still finding, that actually things are hard? Because things should get easier in our careers, and because we get good at what we do, right? And, I kind of understand some of that. I understand the stretch and the challenge and, pushing towards new horizons. I get all of that. I'm very ambitious, and I'm not stopping at all. But it's just that, that ability to recreate, to reinvent ourselves, to recalibrate ourselves, I guess, to recenter ourselves and remember what's important in life. And another friend of mine was talking about work, and, we all have a tendency in the group of friends that I've got to be quite very hard workers and wanting to achieve stuff, right? And he said, yeah, but what are we doing to our families when we do that? Because we're robbing the people that we love most. We're robbing them of ourselves, right? Because we're not there, we're not present. And even if we are there, we're not present because we're still thinking about work. Just can't get away from it, can you? And here's me in my wetsuit thinking I'm just about to go for a surf, which is why it made me think about this whole topic of, I'm taking a couple of hours out just to kind of go surfing, and Sarah's here, my wife, and we're just recalibrating for a minute before we, for a couple of hours, and, just spend a bit of us time, in the middle of the day, and we'll get back to work a bit later perhaps, but it's the weekend coming, folks, So, yeah, and it reminds me of another quote from a lady called Sarah Sabai. Now, she was a game-changer guest in our Inspired CEO community room the other day. I'm a co-founder of an online community which has been running since the lockdown, actually. And we created it through the lockdown to help support business owners and CEOs to get through the pandemic, right, in one piece, and think about practical things as well as our futures. Yeah, Deborah's saying, fabulous idea, thanks for sharing. Oh, great. Thank you, Deborah. Good to see you. And Sarah was saying in our group, she was saying, and I'll quote this, I'll just read this quote, I just scribbled this down on a piece of paper, but in play, we get to step into a space that's possible, a space of where our full potential lies, where our fulfillment is found, a spiritual place that when we play, even if we're playing at work, and work and play are fine, and working in play is absolutely fine, we can show up, folks, we can show up from a place of imagination, from a place of creativity, from a place of experimentation. I love that. So that's Sarah Sabai, and I'll put a link in the description field or in the comments piece, or later on if you want to watch her stuff, because she talks about work and play quite a bit, and this whole thing about playfulness and infinite play rather than work, which I really, really buy into. And earlier this week on LinkedIn, I was doing a Leaders Live interview with a lady called Katie Maycock, who's an expert in fitness, nutrition and wellbeing. Brilliant lady, really high energy. And we were kind of riffing about, all things related to wellbeing and nutrition, and very topical, right? Because we're just coming out of the lockdown process, ourselves in the UK, and, lots of people, listen to that. And she got great hints and tips about mental health and work, rest and play, and not just for ourselves, but if we're managers of people, then we need to think beyond ourselves too. And I just thought it was really pertinent, so check that out. I'll put another link in the feed. It was a great interview, actually. I think you'll really enjoy it. And so my challenge for us today, including myself, and I include myself in this, not to take ourselves so seriously, folks. Work is, there's always another day for work, and it's the weekend now, so we can put our work down and not treat ourselves so seriously, and think about something else, put our work down and rest and play for a little while. And what is it that you could do this weekend to have a bit of playtime? There's a challenge for you. What are you going to do to play hard at playing and play hard at resting, as it were, if you get what I mean? And, what is it that restores you, folks? Remember it's the weekend and it is time to play, right? And so that's my challenge. And next week, the theme of next week, I'm thinking, is, what great advice have you received? That's my Leaders Life theme for next week. What great ideas have you received from people around you that have really stuck with you, that have made a difference to your working life and your life in general? What great advice have you taken from somebody? So that's kind of next week's theme, next week's thoughts. So and I'm still chewing over those, but I'll chew over those over the weekend in my rest and play period, and I'll come up with some great ideas, no doubt. So I'm about to go for a surf now, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'll just quickly flip over and show you my board. So here's my surfboard here, so I can't wait to get onto that. And the sea's looking absolutely fantastic at the moment. There it is. You can't see it very well at the moment, it kind of flattens it all out, but yeah, that's where I'm heading right now. Actually, I'll just leave this stuff with Sarah, and I'll be off. And we're going to go paddleboarding for Sarah this weekend as well, so she gets her rest and play as well. And actually, Sarah really loves a bit of a paddleboard session, and the wind's down, so it's actually perfect paddleboarding weather over the weekend. So we'll get the paddleboard out for her, I guess. So this is me signing off, and I'll see you on the other side. Cheers for now. Bye. Have a great weekend, folks.